Waiting for it to upload that I am live. Why is my thing not working? Hang on 1 second. Let me go out. Then lets me go back in. And it's still showing that I am not live. Why is it doing that? Hello, hello, hello. Is it showing that I'm live now? Okay, it is on here. Okay. I have another thing popped up in to make sure that I am live. I also have one moderator in the chat. I will add more moderators as more people come in. Hello, everybody. I am a Judgmental Cat, and I am your podcast host today. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and more. My Twitch is Musakitty, MUSAKITTY. I stream a lot of games there, including Bleach right now. We're going to talk about a lot of topics today. I'm going to give my opinion on them. My opinions are not facts. These are just ours. Basically, if I have my friends up here, it'll just be ours. You have yours, and we have ours. I will only be allowing my friends that pop in today up onto the podcast, basically to give their opinions on any topics that are being talked about today. Please do not send anyone hate. These are, again, once our opinions. I'm busy doing a podcast right now. I'm doing a podcast right now. Sorry about that. He's not understanding that I am busy, and I might do this on days that I am off. So while he's at school, but I thought I'd do one today because there's stuff I want to talk about. There's what's the one thing that I want to talk about? I should have brought my notes. I didn't bring my notes. No. I am a big believer that if you invite your kids onto a mature audience game with, there's going to be people 18 or up, it is your responsibility to monitor what your kids are seeing. Basically, block the people. I hate it when people go onto games here. I'm going to create a banner for this. All right, this is the topic. That's what I'm probably gonna do is make sure I have these on my banners up first. You are responsible for your own child on MMORPGs with rated M with 18 plus members, which means if you're sitting there and they're having a grown conversation, doesn't matter if it's local, doesn't matter if it's in world chat, doesn't matter anything, and your butt invites your child, a minor child, onto that game, knowing that there's people that are going to be talking like this, and you go and tell them, hey, watch your mouth, you're selfish and entitled. And for you to go and tell them that they are selfish and entitled, it's a rated M for mature. So if your kids cannot handle those topics that are being discussed about the game or about other people in the game, rated M for mature, then your child should not be in that game. And also, there's 18 plus members. It's not my responsibility or those of their responsibility to monitor what your child is listening to. You have that block option. Go ahead and use it. I have been in so many games where I am literally talking to somebody, having a mature audience conversation with that person, and I hater decides to come and says, I need you to watch your mouth. My kid is on the game. And for me to tell them that's not my problem and them to call me selfish. It's selfish and entitled for you to tell me what I can and cannot say in a public chat rated M for mature and with an audience that is more mature. Like if you're having your kid on there with mature content, then I'm allowed to talk about mature content. I'm allowed to talk to other adults and on adult games. It is not my responsibility to monitor your child. That is your responsibility, and that's what the block button is for. Don't stop inviting. Here's the thing: stop inviting your kids if your kids aren't. I don't want to say 18 and up because a lot of mature audiences are 16, 18 and up. Stop inviting your 15-year-olds onto a game and below. This game is not for them. This game that shows half naked women is not for them. This game that has more adults than children on the game is not for them. That goes for any game. I am not, and I refuse to be someone I am not and monitor myself for your child who should not be on that game in the first place. These kids are going on to adult dating games and saying, well, I am younger than 16, 17, whatever the legal age, whatever that they're allowed to be on there. And you're talking about SEX and a whole bunch of other. Yes, because this is basically a dating site for adults and it says 18 and up, and you're on a site for 18-year-olds. I understand you are a child, but you're not supposed to be here. Well, I'm a lot more mature than a lot. If you are, then you wouldn't be complaining about the topics that we are talking about, and you would leave the room. I don't think your mom would want you on here, and I'm not going to, mother you, and I'm not going to be told what I can and cannot talk about when you are allowing these kids to be on this goddamn freaking website. It's rude and selfish to tell me that I can't talk about something because there is a kid in the room. No one asked that kid to be there. That kid can go to a different room. I'm in a room with adults, then that kid should not be there. Especially if it says in the rating inside the game saying 18 and up or rated M for mature audiences. If they are not mature enough for the contents within that game, which half of them show half naked women, that is overly sexualized, then they should not be in that game. They shouldn't be anywhere near it. It's like one of my biggest pet peeves that is pissing me off till this day. I don't care about your child. I am sorry, I don't. I am not there to mother or babysit your children. That's your job. Block to me if you don't like what I have to say. It is my choice if I want to talk about something. You should be teaching your child. If you don't want to hear something, block them. That's a mature thing to do. If I don't like you, I block you. The world is not going to change for your child. That is entitlement. Welcome to the make-believe real world where not everybody cares about your child. And I find it funny that if I did care about your child, you wouldn't care about mine being on there. You would literally start bullying me right in front of my child. And then you would gasp and everything when my child tells you off. That's another thing that fucking, sorry, didn't mean to cuss. Pisses me off. You will literally say stuff in front of my child and expect my child just to remain silent. My child is raised by me. He's not going to remain silent. Especially if you're doing it in front of him. He has a right, because you're doing it in a public place, to tell you, hey, stop. But most of these kids are telling us to monitor what we say, and then they're also being a little bully, bitchs on there. Yeah, and you want my respect, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm petty, and I'm judgmental. Boo-hoo. Anyway, Another topic I wanted to talk about is since when is it okay to call someone a predator when I have no legit proof of them being a predator? And I don't mean a predator, I mean like the pedo, if you will. Everybody keeps throwing it around with no proof at all, and then thinking everybody's going to take it seriously. Like you're watering down the word. It's just like racism. It's everything's getting watered down to where it doesn't affect anybody anymore, and then you're wondering why these people are coming out of the woodworks. Like you're diluting the word, and then you expect everybody to jump on the bandwagon because you said it. Stop calling people racist and stop calling them a pedo and all this other stuff, and A, you don't have any proof of it. And racism is basically thinking you're better than someone else based on the color of the skin. Anybody can be racist. I'm tired of hearing only white people can be racist. That is not true. That has been proven not true. Racism exists all around the world, and in some places it's almost eradicated because they stopped using the social construct of racism. They got rid of it. Most parts of Africa, they don't judge you based on the color of your skin. They base you on your intelligence. But racism once existed there. I know in is it North Africa or South Africa? One of those two. It does exist, but in the other one it doesn't exist at all. They don't see you different than anybody else. They see you as a human being. To me, anybody can be racist. If you're judging me based on the color of my skin, then you're a racist. Period. And every culture and every race, every religion, everybody has been enslaved. But nobody wants to talk about that because you know, it has nothing to do with American history when actually it does. It has everything to do with everything. It shouldn't have happened. It's stupid. Racism shouldn't exist, and neither should slavery. Hell, it sucks wars exist, but they exist too. And I know all the people are going to be like, what does that have to do with anything? Da, 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 da. Everything has to do with it. It's stupid. It shouldn't exist. But because I say it shouldn't exist, that's going to make me a racist. It's going to make me ignorant. It's going to make me... No, it should not exist. It should have never existed. What happened should have never fucking happened. Sorry. Should have never freaking happened. Period. It did. And I am not responsible for what my ancestors did to you. I am not responsible for how they treated you because I wouldn't treat you the way that they would treat you. If you actually listen to the words I am saying, I wouldn't treat you that way. I treat you that way based on your attitude. Hell yeah. If you decided to freaking treat me as if I'm a piece of shit and anything like that, oh yeah, I'm going to treat you like you're one too. Like it comes both ways. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are, who your parents are, anything. And I honestly don't think racism should exist because it's a factor that we cannot help. We cannot help that I was born white and you were born the color you were born in the household you were born. You can't help that who your parents are. You can't help what religion you are born into. You can change your religion, but you can't help what you're born into. Your social class. You can't help what you were born into. You can change it later on. And generational curses, like we can't help those until we're older. We can choose to end those. But that takes a lot of strength, and a lot of people don't have it, and they continue with the generational curses. To me, it's all stupid, but it is all something that we cannot help. But we can change it as we get older. A lot of things we can change as we get older. Our perspectives change. The way we treat people change. The way that we become less ignorant to the world changes. Everything fucking changes. But you gotta let that change happen. You gotta let people learn. You gotta let people be themselves and show who they are. My grandmother, and I'm gonna go back to this, my grandmother and her family were completely racist. My aunt used to talk bad about everybody that wasn't white, like all the time. And God rest her soul, like it would be something that would piss me off to no end. I literally stood up for literally my friends and everything. Like she didn't like gay people, she didn't like black people, she didn't like Democrats, mainly Democrats. And I'm like, what does it matter what who they vote for? Who does it matter what their skin color is? And why does it matter if they're gay? Like that, stop all that shit. That's bullshit, and they can't help who they are. Well, if they wanted to know, they can't help who they are. And I literally stood up for as many people, and I'm not trying to be a white savior. I'm just saying I stood up for as best as I could in a woman's house. Cause I was raised, you don't disrespect someone in their house as much as possibly can. And I'm surprised she didn't kick me out. She invited me back in, and she's like, you know, you have the right to think the way you do. And she's like, this is the way I thought, this is the way I was raised. She's like, we're from two different generations. And no, what I said isn't right to you, but this is, I was like, it's not right at all. Like, you can't be saying that stuff. She never said the N word or anything. I want to make that perfectly clear because I know that's what people thought in the beginning. She never said anything like that. She just basically bashed black people, like full on bashed them. She never said the N word. But I said the stereotypes and everything are not. Hang on one second. But she did bash people. She did judge people. She was completely, in my opinion, racist on that fact. And this is not, you know, something I condone at all. So I did stand up to it, especially when she just kept going on and on and on and on about it. My grandmother, who raised me, I was told that she had the same mindset, but I didn't grow up with that mindset. So it's like I never saw her treat anybody differently. Now, she did not like other kids. I will say that she did not like other kids. And she was insensitive to a lot of things. She didn't like me being bossed around. She didn't like all this other stuff. But she did not like other kids. But I never saw her be inconsiderate based on someone's color of the skin because my friends were not all white. I lived in a very cultural different mixed, you know, type neighborhood. I went to elementary school with a bunch of different kids from all different walks of life. And she was a volunteer at the school. So, like I said, she treated every kid, and she also was a NICU nurse. She treated every kid up until teenage years with respect. She really does not like teenagers. So I never grew up knowing what racism was until I met my aunt. So, and she wasn't like that at the beginning. She started letting those things slip later on as I got older, and I'm just like, I can't deal with this. Like, I can't be over here and letting her say all this stuff. Like, I know, understand this. Like, I'm not. Doesn't affect me the same way, but it is upsetting me because it's like I don't understand. Like, I was not raised this way. Why are you saying this? This is not who I thought you were. And I'm not bashing her or anything like that. I'm just saying I did not like what she said. It was wrong. But growing up with my grandmother, I never saw her treat anybody different, though I was told she was like that. And it's like, not even, she didn't really say anything too offensive, and it wasn't directed towards somebody. It was just insensitive because she's an old lady. You know what I mean? Like, you're fat, you know, or you're loud, or that's a nice dress, but you know, she didn't really mean it. That type of offensive stuff. Never anything towards anybody's skin color Well, religion she did, but nothing. Like my friends weren't that insulted by it. That's all I'm gonna say. Luckily enough, but she, didn't do all this, and my mom and everybody's telling me that she was, and I was like, all I remember is my first boyfriend was black, and he came up to her and he said, "So you're Molly's grandmother?" And she said yes, and he said, "Well, can I call you grandma, or would that be too offensive?" Because he's like, "I'm not trying to call you old. I just want to call you grandma too." He's like, and keep in mind, my grandma. If I showed you a photo of my grandma did not look nice. And this boy showed no fear, walked straight up to my grandmother and was like, "Hi, my name is so and so. Can I call you grandma?" Like fearless. And that's the first time I ever seen her acting different towards a kid. I don't think it was because of the color of her skin. I think it was just she didn't know him. But she said, "I guess so." And he's like, "Okay," because I'm her boyfriend. And my grandma went, "Oh." It looked over at me and went, "Oh." And that's how she was towards all my boyfriends. Didn't matter where they came from. All of them, she was just like, "Oh." She didn't like dudes. She didn't like me dating. She didn't like anything of that. She was nice about it, smiling about it, but she just was not nice about it. So that's just when I was told like my grandma was racist, I was like, when? And I don't know if any of my friends are here that have are coming or the wishes that have met my grandmother. When was she? Was she ever to you guys? Was I just blinded to it? Please let me know that I was not blind to it because I never heard her say anything inappropriate to any of you all. Because that always ate me up when my mom told me that. I was like, wait, because my friends are not all white. They're not. And so it's like, if I invited them over to that type of environment, I want to know because it's like, did she treat them differently than my friends? And I'm like, look, thinking back, I'm like, I don't think she did. I think she treated all my friends basically the same. I mean, she didn't really like that I had friends. She kind of had a jealous streak, so she would tell them, BS to try to get them to go away. Um, but other than that, like I think she treated everybody okay. I mean, I didn't. Nobody told me anything because I would have been like, "Hey, no." She did Steven. She did go after Steven, but not because of his race, but because she thought he was stupid. And I do apologize against Steven. That was the time that she had early stages of dementia, so she was really nasty. But even when she was showing signs of it, I never saw her revert back to that time or anything like that. Like she was always very over opinionated and very highly judgmental and very mean, but never, like that, like too offensive. In fact, she was actually less offensive, um, other than calling Steven stupid, which I did not. I did stand up for him for that one because I was like, he's not stupid. Just because he hasn't been down here does not mean he's, you know, stupid. That's just like saying I don't know where he lives and I have to use a GPS to get to his house. Like that, I'm not stupid. I just don't know where he lives. Um, but other than that, I never heard her talk ill of any of my friends before. Um, but I like I said, I was just raised that way. I was raised that it was wrong. It's not white versus black. It's wrong versus right, and none of that stuff should have happened. It did happen. It doesn't change that it did, and I'm not saying, oh, we should forgive everything that happened. Of course, we shouldn't, forget it, and no, we shouldn't fully forgive because when you fully forgive, you tend to let your guard down. What I'm saying is, I don't agree with it, and I'm sick of hearing, well, you're white, da 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 da. Yeah, I'm white, and my family were slaves. People forget, like, my whole family is not just white. Like, if you look on my ancestral chart, it goes back way deeper. Like, I don't feel it the way you all do, no, but I don't dismiss it. I don't dismiss any of it. My son's family, their history, they were slaves. Like, I don't dismiss any of it. It's wrong. Period. And that's the reason why I'm trying to like tell people, and it's like, I understand you're upset and you want to act like I can't relate to anything because you feel some type of way, but at the end of the day, it's wrong versus right, and I know wrong versus right because I'm a grown ass motherfucking woman, and I'm allowed to say, hey, it's fucking wrong. Just because I'm white doesn't change the fact that it was wrong, and it should have never fucking happened. And that's the end of that story. Like, it always pisses me off because I always like, well, you're white, you can't talk about. Why can't I talk about it? My whole history and everything is, we were slaves too. Actually, preferably, it was mostly the women too that were sold into. It's basically like a sex slave trade, but it's mostly European women. Yeah, people forget about that one. People are like, "Well, it wasn't based off the race." No, it was because I was a female. Yeah, it wasn't. It had nothing to do with race, but it had everything to do with the fact that I'm a woman. Like, that's even more shittier with the shit that's going on right now. It was wrong then. That was wrong. Irish one was wrong. African Americans being sold wrong. Native Americans were treated wrong. Chinese people, Asians, and mostly all Asians. I'm including what happened in Japan. I'm including China, and I'm trying to think of the other one. I'm just gonna say Asia as a whole were treated badly as well. Like, no, none of that should have happened. Jewish people, that shouldn't have happened. Like, none of that should have happened. And it did. And it doesn't change anything. Like, we just gotta get better. We gotta make sure that we're not doing it again. We're not going back. And people are saying, oh, well, if we vote Republicans in, we're gonna go back. I have found out that by living in Texas, where we are so diverse and being Democrat and Republican, I have found out that there is nothing but love here, and we are mostly a Republican ran state. So you all literally are saying, well, Republicans are the issue. It's like, but here I live in Texas, and people are like, well, there's racism in Texas, and everything that I have yet to see where I live in Waco. Signs of it to where it's concerning. There are some people down here that like saying the N-word that are not black, and I have literally been appalled by it. I don't like the word in general. I don't think the word should ever have existed to mean what it did. I know in Nigeria the word means people of the Nigerian River, which I like that meaning a whole lot better. I wish we adapted it down here to mean that. Which I wish everybody would change the word. I mean, we change every single word, but the words that actually matter. And people are like, well, it's an offensive word. And it's like, I understand. But if a whole continent changed the word to mean something else, I think everybody should change the word, you know? Turn it into something beautiful. Stop using it to mean hate. Because it's like I said, I hate what happened. I hate all that shit. That shit should have never fucking happened. Moving on from that topic, because I stood on racism a little bit more than I should. What else was the topic? We covered you're responsible for your own children on MMORPGs rated M plus with 18 plus members. Your 18-year-olds, I agree with that one. We talked about my family history and rambled on about racism and the past and how some things just should have never been an option to happen, and that I don't agree with it. And then I don't know if one of my friends have tuned in or not. My mom told me that my grandmother was racist, and I'm still trying to figure out if any of my friends ever thought that she was. Because I was literally told that as a kid, but I never once saw her say anything. Actually, I saw the opposite because I know her sister was racist, and she said a lot of things, and she, I stood up for it being wrong, and she backed me up on it, which kind of hurt her sister's feelings. But it's like I never saw her be offensive or say anything offensive, and I hope she never was like that to any of my friends, and I did not know about it. Like I said, I grew up where I was told it's wrong versus right. It's not black versus white. It's like it's just wrong. Everything about the whole history is just wrong. And also what we knew about it was wrong. But I was also told just go with what the teacher said because, arguing with your teacher is not going to get you nowhere. And that's one thing that I talked about because I was sitting here thinking about it. I was like, oh my God, if my grandmother was like that to any of my friends and I did not know or they felt that way and they did not tell me because they were afraid that I would not believe them, like, no, like I would have gone off for my grandma. I know she calls my friend Steven stupid once, and he was on the phone, so I couldn't like rip into her while but I did as soon as I got off the phone. Like I ripped right into her because I was like, you do not talk to my friends like that. Um, what was the other topic I wanted to talk about? There was like another one, and I don't remember it. I didn't take any notes. I just said I would just ramble today, and I got off topic with that one. Uh, Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. I did cancel culture. A whole podcast about cancel culture. I think it's stupid. It does not work. Um, if you're talking about stuff from people's past, it really doesn't work. I mean, there's stuff to expose people now that they're doing now, but people are choosing to go and dig up stuff from like 10, 15 years ago, 8 years ago, and be like, that's who they are now. Especially people from back when before they brain matured at 25. Um, People are bashing people that were like 18 and they're like now 35 and doing something entirely different and clearly don't think that way anymore. And people are just bashing them for being basically brain dead. People don't realize a lot of times if you're under the age of 25, your brain is not fully developed. There's no excuse, still no right from wrong, but you're still more of an idiot than you are when after the age of 25. At the age of 25, your brain is almost fully developed. There may be some, you know, emotional delays, stuff like that. Um, and that might hinder your ability to think cognitively. Um, but it shouldn't, affect it too much to where, you know, you don't have the possibility to change who you are. Like the person I am now at 33, I'm not the same person that I was when I was 18. In fact, at 18, I was a lot more edgier. I did not give a shit about your goddamn fucking feelings. I keep saying the F word. I am sorry, YouTube. I'm not kid feeling. I did not care about your damn feelings. I didn't care if I made you cry. I didn't care if you didn't like me. I still don't care. Well, that one never changed. I still don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you think, what you think of me at all. I know who I am. But at 18, I kind of cared about what you thought I was, but I didn't care about your feelings. It was like kind of finding who I was. I was a lot more edgier. I would say anything to hurt you. Didn't care what I said. Now it's like I'm more. I don't know if I'm more calculating, but I mean, I care if I hurt your feelings because I don't want to hurt your feelings when I'm mad now. I kind of don't like being angry. You know, um, I think outside the box a little bit more now. I see things differently than I did when I was 18. Um, I mean, I'm probably still going to hurt your feelings, but at least you know that I thought about what I said before I said it. Uh, but yeah, there's that. Oh, someone. I was watching a video, and someone said that the legal. Sorry, that the legal age to consent. I'm gonna put it on my head real quick and push this one down where the mic is. That the legal age to consent should be raised to 25. If that is so, I also think that, and you're gonna probably wonder why I'm saying this. I think everything should be raised to the age of 25. Then, if we're gonna do that, because most reason why, like, I don't mind it being raised to the age of 18 because my theory on all that is if your age, at your age, you're able to go to war. You should have the ability to legally consent. Um, and a lot of people are gonna be like, "Well, this is like a weird topic," but hang on, my dog keeps getting on my bed. Get down! You're not supposed to be up here. I told you. I don't know how many times I've told you that. Get off my bed. She's the most stubbornest dog I've ever met. No, she peed on my bed, and I don't want her up here. Um, Back to what I was saying. My theory on that is if you're able to buy cigarettes, you're able to vote, you're able to go to war, um, you're able to drive a car, you're able to live on your own, you're able to drop out of school, you're able to, well, at that age, you should be graduating and heading into college. And people are saying, well, they should not be able to legally consent to have sex. What? Then they shouldn't be able to do anything because at 18 we consider them legal adults. If we want, and we consider that an adult activity, is basically what I'm hearing them say. It's like, well, I mean, they can't consent to that, then they shouldn't be able to consent to going into war. I mean, war to me is a bigger decision than if I want to go sleep with a Mary Sue down the street. I'm literally saying I'm willing to put my life on the line. Well, I guess you can also say the other way around if you want to get into the dark humor. But put my life on the line for my country and fight for our rights, fight for my country, fight for my president, fight for our freedoms. But you're telling me because I'm 18, I can't have sex. Am I the only one that thinks that's weird? Like, I'm trying to understand. Does anybody think that way? Like, the legal age should be 25? Like, I just want to, like, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to understand why you think that. And if anybody's watching this after this is over, because I'm probably going to end this at the hour mark, can you let me know what the thought process is for that? Like, can you explain it to me? Because, I mean, it's about adults consenting, so it's not going to be weird. I just don't understand why 25 versus 18, where at 18 they're doing it. Is it you want everything as well risen to that age, or is it just consenting? I don't know if that makes any sense, but I hope it does because I want to know why. You know, I want that open discussion. And if you want to come up on my platform and explain that, you can definitely comment. Next time I go live next week, um, be there and you can come up and you can explain your side of why you think that way. I'm not saying you're wrong. Again, not saying you're wrong at all. I just I want to understand it because to me it sounded kind of weird. Um, I guess it's just to me it just sounded weird because it's like, well, 18 is the legal age, you know, in most states, and now everybody wants to raise it to 25. Then that means grown kids that are going into the army can't, you know, I don't know. I don't know if it's the way I understand it's kind of weird. Um, but I think if you have the ability to decide if you want to go into the army, which is, to me is more dangerous than going to sleep with Linda, you should be able to consent or be more mature enough to consent to have sex. I don't know. I just don't know. Sorry, I'm trying to clean as well. My dog decided to trash, and she wants to poop on the floor instead of on her pee pad right now. It's starting to piss me off. She has like 12 pee pads all over the floor, and she does not like pooping on them. She doesn't like going outside to go poop either. I literally stood there for a whole 3 hours, and she held it until we got inside. So, got to clean out this closet a little bit more, and then I'm going to get her some AstroTurf or maybe a litter box. See if she'll poop in the litter box. Because she likes pooping like on clothes and stuff like that. She'd rather poop on those than the floor, but she gets yelled at if she poops on clothes, so she doesn't. So I'm thinking a litter box would work with her. And I think she just doesn't like the pee pads because, I don't know, probably because she has this, she squats really low to pee, and then she also squats really low to poop, and I guess it's just uncomfortable. I don't know, but I don't want to talk about dog poop on my channel. No, Evie. I keep telling you no. I said no. I said no. See, she doesn't listen. She doesn't want to listen. She's a chihuahua. They're so stubborn. Um, I said no. Go bother your brother. No, go bother your brother. And the funny thing is, when she peed on her bed, I literally rolled over and said her name, and her ears went back. Like, I didn't even say it in the mean way. I just said her name, and her ears went back. And I'm like, why are you acting like that? She knew she did something wrong. She knew she peed on my bed. And it's not like she can't jump down and go straight to the pee pad. The pee pad's like right there as soon as she jumps down on all three sides of my bed. Um, it's the fact that she doesn't want to jump down to go pee. Um, because she'll literally go and then she'll lay right back down next to me. She's just lazy. And people say, well, she probably has to go really bad. She does a little tinkle on the bed, not like a big, huge puddle. This dog literally has filled up a whole pee pad with urine in one go. She can hold a whole lot in her bladder. She is quite capable of holding a lot of pee. She just does not want to go on her pee pad. I'm going to keep knocking you off the bed if you keep getting it back up here. I told you no. You think that I'm not your owner and that you don't have to listen to me, but you're going to listen to me. But yeah, that was one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about because to me, it just, when I heard that, it just sounded like so weird to me. Like, why would you think the legal age should be raised to 25 to consent? But, and if you meant everything, not just the legal age to consent for that. Because if they said everything, God dang it, the freaking dog bowl, everything should be raised, then to me it would make more sense than just the legal age to consent. All right, I'm gonna go put a pee pad down real quick for her. She fills one pee pad out, so. Set up. I'll put another one down. I'll put two more in the, or three more. Get down! Get down! Down! I'm sorry, guys. It like backs me out. I apologize. All right. So, yeah, that was one thing that kind of confused me on just a little bit. So if anybody wants to come up and talk to me about that, give me your perspective, or if you have an opinion on it, I'll let you come up. Next one. Pooping in places that you don't need to be pooping. Sorry. Stop running over it. That's the reason why you're not using it. Another thing she does, she'll play on her pee pads, and then she won't use them because they're flopped over. And I know I shouldn't use her crate as a form of punishment, but correcting her does not work. Taking her out every hour does not work. Taking her out every 30 minutes, 15, 10 minutes does not work. Even 5 minutes after she has eaten. She will hold it until we come inside and she'll poop on the floor. She'll pee outside, but she won't poop. And they're so hard to potty train because they're so close to the ground. You don't know when they're going. All right, I've almost been on here for an hour. I'm actually going to hop off. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you guys on the next podcast.